You're listening to the Black to Business Podcast, an educational podcast providing Black entrepreneurs with the tools and resources to start and grow their businesses. We chat with vetted Black entrepreneurs, thought leaders, and business owners as they provide tips and resources to help take your business to the next level. I'm your host, Monique Marshall. Hey, welcome back to the Black to Business Podcast. I'm your host, Monique T. Marshall, and today we have a very special episode. So we recently hosted an incredible event in the heart of DC at the prestigious Shanklin Hall. So this event was part of our Black Men Who Lead series, and it was an absolute powerhouse of inspiration and knowledge sharing. Such an amazing event. Now, if you're new to our Black Men Who Lead series, let me give you a quick rundown. This series is about celebrating the remarkable accomplishments and leaderships of Black men leading in business and community. We believe in amplifying their voices, sharing their stories, and learning from their journeys. We've been doing this since 2017. We initially hosted the first panel here in New York this year in partnership with The Spot NYC during their annual Juneteenth Black Creatives and Culture Fest. Then we decided to take the show on the road and head to DC. It was such a success, especially being our first event in DC. It was so enlightening and engaging. The venue was amazing. The panelists were bomb. Like, everybody was lit on the panel. And because the event was so amazing, we wanted to share it with you. So today you're going to hear the live recording from the event. But before we dive into the episode, let me tell you about our incredible panelist and moderator. So this is the part you won't hear in the recording because it's in the beginning and we cut that part out. So first up, we had Obi Omili Jr. And Obi's a Forbes 30 Under 30 alum and co-founder of the Cut app, which is a tech startup revolutionizing the barber and beauty industry. Next, we had Damon DIXON. Damon's a powerhouse growth marketer, and he's generated over $4 million in revenue for bootstrapped businesses. He's also the founder of douxds, which is a game changer in the men's skincare industry. And Damon is also 25 years old. So amazing. And then we had Chris Perrin, who is owner of Cut 7, which is a fitness haven in DC and Arlington. He was another panelist, and I loved his story because despite an injury sidelining his football career, Chris discovered a passion for fitness and transformed it into a thriving business. And lastly, we had Matthew Goins, the CEO of Puzzle Huddle, also a HU alum. Shout out to Howard. Matthew's on a mission to provide diverse and inclusive puzzles for children. His products have garnered attention from Oprah herself. Shout out to Matthew. But it wasn't just our panelists who made this event special. We also had a fantastic moderator, Jamore Johnson, who is the Chief of Growth and Innovation for Black to Business. His experience in innovative marketing and his passion for empowering entrepreneurs definitely shone brightly on the panel. Now let's dive into the heart of this episode. So during the panel discussion, we asked our esteemed guests some thought-provoking questions, and their responses were nothing short of incredible. For OB, we explore how educational and storytelling videos on the Cut app have been beneficial. We also discussed the app's unique differentiators and got a sneak peek into its future developments. Damon opened up about partnerships, the role of douxds in challenging industry stereotypes, and the power of social media and technology in engaging the audience. We dug into Chris's approach to teamwork and accountability at Cut 7, adapting to changes in fitness industry, and the studio's expansion plans. And Matthew shared the fascinating story behind Puzzle Huddle, his motivation to create diverse puzzles, and how he handles the overwhelming demand for his products. And throughout the discussion, we delve into the broader topics of entrepreneurship, community impact, and the challenges faced by Black business owners, especially Black men, and so much more. So get ready to be inspired, educated, and uplifted as we unpack the insights, experiences, and wisdom shared by these incredible individuals. They're not just leaders, they're visionaries, trailblazers, and change makers, and they are also Black men who are leading. Also, before we jump into the discussion, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so that you never miss an episode of the Black to Business podcast. And if you're feeling generous, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts to let us know what you think. So without further ado, let's dive in.
Alrighty, so to start, this is for everyone, and you can just chime in where you feel. I was recently in a tech accelerator, and one of the things that the facilitator always asked at the beginning of class was, what were you thankful for? So if we can go around and just start off with what we've been thankful for, and we'll get started that way.
I mean, also, I would say I'm grateful for my family and just the support that I've had. In my younger years, I used to watch my mom do events like this and watch her speak, and it was always inspirational for me. So just grateful to be around the energy growing up.
Yeah, echo that. Grateful for my family, grateful for God's love and all the blessings that He's given me. I'm very grateful for my daughter, McKenna. She's testing my patience. And, I'm becoming a better person because of her.
Ditto. Very grateful for my family. My wife and children have been awesomely supportive, and the success that I've had in business, I find it really cool that I can do it while I still have my parents. Doing some pretty cool things like launching in Target and launching in Basics to take my mom to see my products in some of those stores has been pretty cool.
Hello. I think I'm a second and third, everything I wants to say. Family, friends. But the biggest thing that I have tomorrow, that I can still wake up every day and go at it and build a business. Really fortunate for that. And then, just some of the success that we've had thus far. Being able to do that, and my friends and family being able to partake in it as well. Super excited, super thankful for that. But yeah.
That's great. I'm thankful for just being able to wake up and doing things that I feel that my parents were able to do, and sometimes it can be a little struggle sometimes for them to comprehend what it is that I am trying to do. But I am grateful for having the opportunity to kind of be black, free, black boy joy for real. So just being able to just do what I want to do, or being able to have the opportunity to be able to collaborate and work with people and just do what it is that I kind of want to do, or if I choose to do it, I can do it. So the opportunity is there. So thank you. I'll start with Damon. So we actually asked Damon some questions, and he gave us some feedback that this is not how it is with the $1 billion or fundraising. And I know fundraising is a big thing when it comes to businesses, but he's bootstrapped. And I think that that's very interesting to hear, because even on our podcast, we just hear a lot about bootstrapping and how it's not always painted in the light that you necessarily think, even though I think that's huge. So, bootstrapping. So, could you tell us a little bit more about your bootstrapping growth and how it came to be and where you are right now?
Yeah, so the reality is when I first looked at how do I make money online, I quickly realized that the business model of buying something for less and selling for more has always been around for thousands and thousands of years. So that's just the mentality I had. It's make money on the first order, figure out how to be profitable on the first purchase. Now, in terms of e-commerce and physical products, the reality is a lot of the products that are already on the market are already made. So you can go directly to factories. They've already got private label versions of products. So how I started my first business was just taking a product that already existed, put my branding on it, and learn how to sell and market that product. So I was instantly profitable because they already had the mold, they already had the inventory. And then eventually, once I made enough profit from that, I was able to fund my own unique molds and things of that nature. So I think bootstrapping is really just a way of thinking about, how do I say, efficient? Because when you get additional dollars, even when I remember I got a credit card, I'm oh, now I got unlimited money. That's not the case. You still have to pay that money back. So how can you be as efficient as possible and then grow yourself so that way you're just building a sustainable business long term?
And Matthew, with you being in this product space that Damon's in, have you dealt with the same situation, or has it been a little bit different for you when it comes to bootstrapping or even fundraising to open it up that way?
Yeah, I also fit in the bootstrapping category. I started my business based on income that I was earning from my career, so I was able to do it with my own resources. Now, it's really easy to burn through money. So bootstrapping will force you to be efficient and make good decisions, because the more money you have access to, you can just make bigger, worse decisions. So when it's your money, you're just super careful and thoughtful about spending. When you have access to more resources, gosh, it's easy to make a big, expensive mistake, and that's hard to recover from. So yeah, we fit in the bootstrapping world. That will slow your growth because you have limited, less access to resources, but it also makes you a little bit more careful and thoughtful.
Okay, cool. And so with that, what has been, I guess I'll open it up to everyone, what's been like a mistake that you've made that you've kind of recovered from, or you're still recovering from, or you'll never ever do again when it comes to like starting a business?
I got a super embarrassing one. So I work in the illustration world, and when I first started, I don't know illustrators. I'm not a comic book artist, like I'm not connected to art. So I thought that you could go on some of these freelance websites and hire people from overseas and get very high quality illustrations at a low cost. So I was working with illustrators. This was like a $35 thing. I thought, oh, I can certainly afford this. This guy took about 6 weeks to send me back what couldn't be much more than stick figures. So not only did I lose weeks and weeks of planning time and the investment costs. So to think that you can get amazing things for less than what might be a reasonable cost for was a huge mistake. When you move out of paying $25 and $35 for an illustrator, and okay, $300, $400, like a professional illustrator, there's such a difference in quality. So some undercutting costs in the wrong channels, huge mistake. $10 art will come across as $10 art.
Thank you for that. So we'll go into. I wanted to say more. I want to give other people an opportunity to say. I don't know if anyone else has anything to add to that or
Nothing that good.
Okay, cool. So Chris, you are in fitness. So with fitness and starting your own studio, what have you learned from being, I guess, in the industry, and just, I guess, from your knee injury to transferring that over to being a business owner? How's it changed? Is there, or what have you learned from your injury?
I think an injury, the best thing about an injury is it humbles you. It makes you go slower, and it forces you to learn a new pace. I think there are a lot of similarities to the business world. There are a lot of variables that we don't have control of. And once you allow yourself to surrender and give control up and just do everything you can, things start to kind of go your way. You don't have an expectation for how things are going to turn out. I think the injury, I was going to the NFL before the injury, if you ask me, right? If you ask any coach, they'll tell you something different. But I needed that, right? Because what was I going to do if I graduated and I couldn't play in the NFL? So I had to figure out how to do college or stay in college without a scholarship. So injuries, overcoming obstacles. Business ownership, overcoming obstacles, troubleshooting, fixing, kind of thing.
Thank you for that. I'm going to ask Obi a question. So one, I love haircuts. It's very therapeutic for me, and on budget I can't always get them like I used to, like every 2 weeks right now. But I love haircuts. So for you, when I was on YouTube, I was just looking at some of the things the cut is doing. Do you find storytelling more engaging, or do you find people engaging more with the storytelling part of your app or the education part? Because I see both, and I see the benefits of both.
Absolutely. One, I love haircuts too. It's great. It makes it feel great. Time in the chair, like you said, it's like a little spa day, right? Yeah, I mean, what type of content works the best? I think it depends on the use case, right? We create different types of content for different reasons. When you're talking about the storytelling content that you see, let me take a step back. We As our app exists, we have two kind of consumers. We have barbers who use our app to run their business, appointment scheduling, payments, customer management. And on the other side, we have customers who use our app to discover barbers and book and schedule their appointments, right? So the content that we create has to service both audiences. And the storytelling content is what we're really focused on right now to help us build brand awareness for consumers. We're really trying to tell stories that resonate. You all love getting haircuts, telling stories of when you got your first haircut or poor moments when you got haircuts, and we use that content to, again, try to like capture mind share. And that works really well. We get really high engaging content. People watch it through, they share their sentiment, and it's great, right? But then on the other side of that, we also create more barber-facing, more tactical, functional content, which is more for them to, which is more where we can teach them a skill, or we can kind of add value to what they're doing in their daily lives. And this content serves the purpose of, one, creating the notion that we are a resource for the barbers, so that they can not only come to us to get, obviously, our app to run their business, but they can also come to us as a resource to get other tools that can amplify their careers, right? And so each content serves a different purpose, and they both work in different ways.
And piggybacking off, I know that, Chris, you have not just the cut, but you also have the playbook. It's not the playbook, it's the
Cut 7
the
play.
Cut 7 play. So could you tell me a little bit more about that, or tell us what that is, or how that's, I guess, entering into what, maybe text-based?
Yeah.
Is different from being in the fitness space?
Yeah. So during the pandemic, we, just like every other gym, went online. And I thought we were going to compete with Peloton. But like, this is, I mean, honestly, this is how I live. In extremes. Like, I literally thought we were going to compete with Peloton. I was prepared. I was getting prepared. So we started a website, and it was very official. And like, you know, we were in it for the long haul. We were creating content. There was 7 different classes a day, and saving everything. So we have thousands of videos. And we pay $100 a month for web hosting. As long as people are subscribed and it's covering its costs, we're not making any new content. We don't need to. We have 2 years worth. As long as people are paying for it, they're paying for the service, I don't need to do anything. I will do something in the future. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. But it's just... I don't want to tell you what I'm going to do with it in the future. How about that?
Speaking of content, I think that everyone does content really well here. Damon, I see it all the time. It pops up all the time. And in that, have all of you, what's the strategy you go about when it comes to content? Are you very curated, or do you just let things happen naturally, or are you looking for those moments where, you know, highlight it in like over, you know, favorite things, or how do you, I guess, use outside sources for your content?
Yeah, I'll speak on this. So I was a YouTube kid, so I grew up watching a lot of random stuff, funny stuff, comedians, like the first podcast like Joe Budden show, like way back type stuff. So basically, I say that to say that like I've always just looked at content as like this thing to capture people's attention, and I really just look at other people's stuff first. So like now I'm like looking at Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast right now is like the largest content creator in the United States, 200+ million subscribers on YouTube. And the way he breaks down how he makes his content is really just about click through and watch time. So you might see, if you see my ads now, I've actually did something completely different than what most media buyers are doing. I have like 8-minute videos running as Facebook ads right now. And on paper that looks crazy. Like, why would you have an 8-minute ad running? But back in the 90s, I didn't know this, but he used to have like 30-minute like TV spots where like Tony Robbins or whatever would get on and like try to sell his book and go through this long sales pitch. So I'm taking those same principles of like how guys are creating long form story content that really resonates with the consumer. But the cool thing is about like on Meta, they reward advertisers that create content that keeps their consumers on the platform. So overall, my ad cost drops, which means my acquisition cost drops, and I'm retaining more audience. So yeah, I'd say to say like I love content. I think it is the most powerful thing. I call it time travel. Because in a way, you're literally recording a snippet in time, and you're just propagating a message over and over again. So like, yeah, content's key, and then if you know how to leverage it and like put money behind it, then it's just an automated machine. So,
can I ask a question about that? Yeah. How does that 8-minute video do? Like in comparison to a 1-minute video?
Yes. So I found, like for me in my, so I think it's product dependent. In general, like we're really working on like market sophistication and market awareness. So in my case, I have a men's skincare brand. Most, like the men's skincare brand is completely unsophisticated compared to like women's skincare. So we see this literally as a function of like how many products are available. It's not that like we don't deserve more product, things like that. It's just a function of how long have women been advertised to.
So, getting back to the conversation, so I love collaboration, and when I got the product from DIXON, when I opened it, it just was a little advertisement from the cuts, and I thought that was just like the greatest collaboration. It's just like right in your face, and it's just there, and it's just like a camaraderie. So when it comes to collaboration, what do you think makes a really good collaboration, and how are you doing that in your business right now?
Yeah, so for me, it was clear, like, I wanted to just figure out how I could get my customers a free haircut. They didn't work out directly, but just the concept of, like, what would my customer love? Like, when they open up the box, do they feel like they're part of something? And again, going back to the sophistication part, like, guys have they've never had these experiences like this, so how can I be the person that really creates that relationship? So for me, yeah, it's just like, what's going to add the most value to my customer overall? So even recently, we just partnered with like a legitimate like licensed esthetician. So it's not just me speaking about this stuff. I got a guy who's been doing this for years and years, speaking on these problems, and like that adds way more value to my customer overall. So similar to what he's got going on with like adding content to this, you know, your business, like it's a whole asset. Like that just adds way more value to your customers. So they're just gonna think about you more and more.
Yeah, I mean, I say the same exact thing. Like working with Damon just made complete sense. Right, similar, as you said, like market sophistication. A lot of guys have never used apps to put with their barber, right? Or really spend enough time to like pay attention to their skincare routine. So finding brands that we can partner with that add value to the experience, right? But we're thinking specifically like, you know, men's grooming experience, right? Starts with a haircut, but it doesn't just end there, right? It's whether your skincare, fragrance, everything that kind of goes into your whole getting ready process.
Hot towel.
You know, exactly, those are things. So like finding partners that we can, you know, add value in that whole like workflow is kind of how we look at, you know, partnership and collaboration.
And speaking of collaborations, Matthew, I know it's not happening, but when it comes to, or not happening, I'm not sure, but I know that it's catered for children. Is there anything in the future for like teenagers and like adults? I know my best friend loves puzzles. So have you looked at the collaboration of that, or even like with artists that are out here, like out here?
Yeah, what's really cool is once you know how to design and produce puzzles, you can just run the full stack. One of the surprise segments, I had this was not a thought in my head, in my business concept, as a potential customer base, was seniors. I sell to so many nursing homes. Like I never thought these kids puzzles would be a hit in the nursing home market. Right? That wasn't a column I was counting on. So now that we understand the impact of puzzles, the quality time, the brain development, the sharing, all of the additional benefits that you can get through the puzzling experience. Sure, I think as my kids mature, and I've matured as a parent, I think we're going to kind of follow, I'm probably going to follow my kids. As they grow, we'll stack the company through their development. Well, I won't be around for them to visit the nursing home, but we'll probably entertain that.
If I could add to the collaboration, it's crucial, especially if you have a product that is niche and hard to explain to people who don't really know the products or know the industry. My product is very niche. It's sports conditioning, so it's all based on athletics. And if you didn't play college football, you probably won't be familiar with a lot of this. So it was crucial for us to collaborate with yoga studios, with spit studios, dietitians, whoever is in this wellness space who we could speak to about our product and educate their people, they can introduce their product to our people. It's a win-win, in my opinion.
So sometimes piggybacking to just like the nursing home, like I would ask my dad, because he's in and out of the nursing home, about let's play a puzzle. Like, just not playing a puzzle, but, let's try a puzzle just to, do what you can to keep that brain active. With that and mental wellness, and this is for you, Chris, the importance of, mental health and well-being in fitness has been prominent. How does Cut 7 address the holistic aspect? I guess you already mentioned that with valuable services with their clients. I think you mentioned the skill.
Yeah.
Is there anything else?
If you, on any given day, you walk into Cut 7 and you ask someone what kind of gym is this, they'll say we're a team. We're not a gym. And they mean it. It depends on the person, actually. But it's serious. We really do make ourselves more about the people than the product. So we're feedback driven to a certain extent, right? We hold events and community-led initiatives with our customers. So we'll go out and do Garrison's playground, clean it up. These kind of things bring us all together even tighter. So we have a trust. There's a trust with our customers that it's hard to get in any other kind of retail environment. So we can kind of introduce them to some stuff. We can introduce them to some mental health. We can introduce them to some diet. We're allowed to do some things that a lot of gyms wouldn't be allowed to do because we are so close with our athletes. I feel like I'm going on a tangent. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. You're fine. I was trying. When you talk about team, I did have a question about your dream team. I know that we're all in the space where you're still growing, but with that, what's on your team that you appreciate now, or what do you look to aspire to have on your team that you don't have just yet as you're building your company?
Number one thing is probably more engineers is what we're looking for. Technology companies are like the biggest, two parts of growing the technology business, right? It's like how quickly can you grow your audience, right? Either through ad spend or through marketing, or the other side of it is like how well can you grow organically through product? And for us, like we've always, to the point of bootstrap, we've always been leaner in terms of like cash on hand. And so we like pride ourselves in our closeness to our customers and our ability to build what they want. And in that, we built a product that they love and that drives through referrals and organic growth. And so for us, the number one thing that we would love right now is more engineers so we can build out the product more faster. Because they're constantly asking for features that they can help their business grow. And if we can, again, add more value, then I'm sure, we'll have more barbers and clients talking about us to their friends, which will, aid in our growth. So for us, engineering talent is probably the biggest thing. But then truthfully, probably need to go a little bit of hierarchy in the business too. But, yeah.
And to second to the question, to you, my barber, he uses Booksy. So how are you getting barbers to know that, hey, you should switch over to, the cut, or what's your competitive advantage over all the other booking apps that are out there right now?
Sure. So there's a couple different ones out there, right? Booksy's one. There's a couple others. The way that we differentiate ourselves is mainly around our go-to-market strategy. Booksy is kind of a full-service solution for everyone inside the beauty space, right? Barbers, estheticians, stylists, everyone who services a client. And what that tends to do is because most professions there skew more feminine. Their branding and everything like that also skews feminine stuff, female stylists, right? And what happens is barbers and customers tend to not feel like they can find barbers as well on those platforms, And so barbers tend to feel lost in the shuffle, right? And so by us focusing specifically on barbers, we've been able to build a brand stronger than our competition, that we are the go-to place for barbers and barbers around the country. Last couple months, we hit a new milestone where there are more searches for barbers on the cut than there are on Google. So we're super excited about that. And then for the other solutions that do focus a little bit more on the barber side, the way that we differentiate ourselves is mainly in focusing on these individual barbers around the country, because we know most barbers, your relationship is kind of one-to-one with your barber, right? And they work within the shop and they pay booth rent. And so we've taken the strategy of building a solution where that individual barber can run their own business as the solopreneur that they are, versus building a top-down solution for a shop owner. And in that, we've been able to scale faster because any barber around the country can download our app and get started in 5 minutes and start running their business versus having to try to get the shopper on board and go through the whole rigmarole and that whole process. So, yeah, targeting specifically barbers and individualized barbers is how we differentiate ourselves, and really honing in on building our social presence and organic growth in that sense.
And then for Chris, I guess the same question, because I can bike around the city and hit so many different types of fitness studios, and it's kind of like, how do you make yourself stand out besides what you're already doing well and the trust that the clients have with you.
You can go to every gym in DC, but you can even go to Cut 7, right? Cut 7 isn't a gym, though. I already told you, we're a team. So if you can find another team that's going to be welcoming as we are to you, no, but in all honesty, we have to differentiate. We have to get so specific. We can't generalize. We have to know who our customer is, to how they wake up to how they go to bed. And you can't know everyone. You can know yourself pretty well. So, yes, it's hard to differentiate. It's easier to make a platform that has everyone. Let everyone come on. You'll get a ton more people. It's harder to make something that's niche, and you're asking for just barbers. You're talking to a limited amount of people. But if you can get to them, if you can talk to them, you win. It's that simple. If you try to talk to everyone, you lose. It's that simple.
Facts.
I would say I'll speak on that a little bit too. Kind of piggyback off that the niche thing. Again, I'm a basic marketing guy, so I read the OG 1960 books about levels of awareness and all that. So really at a fundamental level, you need to start off at the most aware, so the people that you know incredibly well. And really a function of generating more revenue and scale is you hit more unaware markets. But what most people don't realize is you can get a lot of people that are very aware and start going from there. That will get you a few $1 million in revenue. It's not until you're trying to hit 9 figures plus, then you got to go super unaware, YouTube style type stuff. But yeah, just want to know that.
Thank you. Matthew, with you getting the exposure of being on Oprah's favorite things list, and that's big. Clap it up. That's very, very big. That's huge. How has the operations evolved since 2020 in order to, handle all of, the amounts of business that I'm sure that you got from it?
So Oprah's favorite things creates chaos in your life. This is going to sound like an emotional dump, so I'm sorry. So Oprah's favorite things, they plan way in advance. So even though the list is announced around the holidays, they pick the winners in July. So there's a lot of communication and setup and preparation for the business because they know how overwhelming it's going to be. This for us happened during the pandemic when I was running a home-based business. So there was no commercial facility. So we needed to increase our shipping capacity with staff members inside of my house during COVID, which was a time period where you don't let extra people in your house for any reason. So I had at points 8 people coming into my house through my kitchen, using my bathroom, breathing on my children, to help us have a successful experience being on Oprah's favorite things. We shipped a lot of product. Oprah's favorite things, I'm going to say this number out loud, 500,000 in product sales through Oprah's favorite things. And we ship it from my living room. So lots of new things to deal with. You have never bought that much tape. You have never bought that many packing peanuts, boxes. You have never bought so many supplies to make that happen. And I had thank goodness I had a wonderful network of staff members that were able to help us get through it during COVID when I was home-based business. Now we're in a commercial facility, so it would be a different experience. But shipping it from my living room, even my relationship with the postman, I at one point had 4 UPS trucks parked in front of my house, which now I have to have a conversation with my neighbors about what are you doing? What are you doing that all these trucks are here? So it was quite a growth experience, but also absolutely wonderful, stressful, chaotic, and fulfilling at the same time.
And if there's anyone that can do it, it's someone from Detroit that went to Howard. I don't know what it is, but it's something in the blood of Detroit, Howard, well, just Detroit. The hustle is there. The Detroit hustle, that's the whole thing.
Good work, man. But for real, I feel like the easy part was getting on Oprah. And then you had to work. For real. Because you're putting your life at risk during a pandemic. You're putting your kid, this is serious. What would you do that for?
Yeah, did they give you, someone from Oprah's team to kind of guide you, or have you been able to use them or utilize them now?
Yeah, you get some coaching support, but it's your business, so they're not going to plant someone into your business to run it. And one of the interesting, so my inventory was in my house. That means the kitchen, the living room, the dining room, the hallway, all of my rooms were warehouse. So boxes sat to the ceiling in most of my home, which created a great confinement experience for my kids.
Oh,
but it completely derailed our ability to live in our house because the boxes were stacked to the ceiling in every room. So it was, we survived it. If you look at the pictures, looking back, it was fun. My wife probably did not appreciate that experience as much as I did as an entrepreneur, because she's just not living, breathing entrepreneurship. She looks at me as, sir, what is she doing? But it was wonderful in hindsight, and I think a great experience for my family.
So with that, I'm going to open it up for the strengths. What are your strengths that you have that you bring into the business? Because after all, the theme of the panel is the DNA of the Black businessman, and that's because not everyone does the same things, but doesn't mean you can't get to the same goal. So what are your strengths that you've been able to bring to your business and incorporate into the culture that you have?
I say for me, probably vision. With my current products, there was nothing like it for guys, and then I put something else on top of it, but I almost over-innovated. So for me, I just I love Apple. So for me, looking at iPhone, how they package stuff, how they think about what is the next thing, what's the leapfrog thing. For me, it's vision for sure, but that can kind of bite me in the butt sometimes. So.
But I can see it, because when I opened up the package, it felt like I was opening up a phone. It's really I was very, very excited. It made me I want to do content, and that made me want to talk about it, because it's just this is great. It works. It's it was very well thought out. The vision, I see it.
I'm a details guy. I'm a numbers guy. I'm an accountant at heart, honestly. So I'm really good at finding what's wrong. I will nitpick. I'll find pieces of dust where no one else will. And that's good and bad. There's definitely a obsessive compulsive part of that, which isn't real, but I'll say that. But honestly, no one's gonna set the table like you do, right? That's what Damon Meyer said. No one is going to fix those dumbbells the way you do. No one is going to vacuum the turf the way you do. I'm still going to do it, and I'm going to show them how to do it, but I'm not going to expect them to do it in the same exact fashion as me, because it's my heart and my soul, that turf, the dust. That's me. you know?
Yeah, I don't know if these are qualities of black maleness, but I think my unique qualities that I bring to my business is a bias towards action, creativity, and I'm not scared, and I don't fear embarrassment. So to launch a toy company, if you don't have a background in toys, like you tell your friends, hey guys, I'm launching a toy company, and your friends look at you and wonder, what in the world are you talking about? You're going to quit your job because you sell toys now? Like, that doesn't, and you have, how many kids do you have? And daycare is how much? And your mortgage is how much? And now you're going to quit your job to sell toys? So, but I really, in most experiences, I just don't fear the embarrassment. Like, watch me sell these toys. Watch me. So while I'm not operational, I'm not tactical, I'm not accounting, I do things like, give me the puzzles, I'm going to go sell it. What about your LLC? What about your tax method? What about all these, your website? And your watch me go sell the puzzles. Well, we'll figure out all that stuff. Yeah, I need an LLC. Yep. I'll sell some puzzles, then I'll go get my. So I really have to bias towards action. Sometimes it gives me a risky situation because I've overdone the thing, and then I need to go back in the administrative steps to protect myself. But I'm going to go do the thing. I don't have a problem going to do the thing. But I have to build a team to help me. There were things we need to do in terms of taxes to make sure this is an appropriate strategy. So I think my unique qualities are creativity and a bias towards action.
I think I would say probably a little bit. Everyone here said it's probably what makes us all unique to be entrepreneurs. Creating big ideas, that's the thing I think I'm really good at with our team, coming up with ideas and going after them. But then on the other side of that, it's like, similar to you not being afraid of getting embarrassed, it's like, just to do it. It's to get up and do something. Because the biggest thing that'll hold one through back is the anxiety or the waiting for it to be perfect. And just to wait, I'm just go out and do it, see what happens, and then iterate and learn from there. The one thing that you have to do as an entrepreneur is constantly test your assumptions. And that's one thing I don't have any fear in is getting proven wrong and then going out and figuring out how to prove other people right. I think one thing my parents probably instilled in me is an irrational confidence that I can do anything, and I'll go out and try to prove people right even if I can't. So yeah.
Thank you. I want to finish off with the question of just like what you're all up to, what's coming up, what can we expect before I open it up to questions from the audience.
Yeah, so for me right now, I knew skin is like where I started just because I don't have perfect skin, but I had terrible acne, and if you went to the website, you'd see the pictures, like, face was completely covered. I look back now, I say I look like a chocolate chip cookie, or like a Crunch bar or like a Rice Krispie treat covered in chocolate. I say this now, but back then it was like detrimental, like, my God. But I got into a point where like, hey, clear my skin, and now we're helping guys. We got a good product line, like it's running. But I know a bigger market, again, just looking at market awareness and what problems are people facing and how can you grow this further. Hair care is a really big section of the market, and a lot of our guys are a lot older as well. So like, yeah, our customer base is like 35 plus, so it's not really too much of the other guys, like I thought. So yeah, hair care, hair growth, hair strengthening, hair health is like the next thing that I'm looking to tackle. So just working on technology products and also formulations to go around that. So.
Love that. I didn't have a skincare routine until the pandemic. Seriously, I didn't wash my face until the pandemic. Like, I like did with like a bar. Like, it was the same bar I used on my arm. Water in my bar, and then I would dry off. And then I had like acne, and then people were like, what's your skincare routine? And I'm like, they're like, okay, go to Sephora and get this. I'm like, listen, I went to Sephora and I went to the checkout, and they were like, okay, sir, that's $375. And I'm like, nah. I can't wait to get your stuff for real. What was the question? Sorry.
What to look forward?
Yeah, so at Cut, we're going to get into consumer products. We're going to create our own protein, electrolytes, CBD, drinks, and other consumer products that we're going to sell in the store.
So what am my business going to be up to? My life, when I wake up in the morning, my thinking revolves around my children. So we're going to be at gymnastics class, and I have to buy Eggo waffles, and I got to do. I'm reading Charlotte's Web and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. So those are the first things I think about in the morning. When I get to my business, I think we're going to try to make a stronger play into apparel. All of you, does anybody have children in the audience? Anybody with kids? Target wins so handily when Black History Month comes around. Every Black family goes to Target and buys the Black History Month shirt. All of them. So I don't think that should belong to Target. So we're going to try to make a stronger play because we already have the artwork and illustrations and the imaging to make a stronger play. We're going to try to maintain the puzzle infrastructure, but also play into apparel in a much stronger way.
And for us, we spent the last 6-7 years really focused on building out the barber side of our platform, building other functionality features. So moving forward, we're really focused on the customer now. So you'll see a lot more of like how do we make the matchmaking process and how do we make it more seamless for you to find a barber who's perfect for you. So that's what the future looks like for us. So you'll see a lot of different technologies helping to make that process a lot easier.
I love that. Thank you again. Can we clap it up for Liz? So I actually don't have a way to.
Yeah, so we're gonna. Everybody can ask the question.
Oh, okay, cool. So does anyone in the audience have a question for for the panelists?
I'm going to say thanks to the panelists for sharing your feedback, your input. I just want to ask, what would you want your customer to get when they buy your service or your product? What would you want them to take away when you buy your product or service?
I think for me at Cut, it's Cut 7. I want them to walk away feeling better about themselves. I want them to feel uplifted and empowered. I want them to walk out of the gym like literally like, wow, I just did that. There's a specific feeling that we're trying to elicit, let's say.
I mean, I'd say similarly, like empowerment. Again, two sides, right? For a barber, when they use our service, we want them to feel empowered, like they can run a business that they never have been able to before. They're confident that they can interact with their customers, and that they can scale a business, that takes care of their family. On the other side, on the customer side, again, you feel empowered that you can find a barber. You feel better about yourself because you got a dope haircut. So again, that underlying value, what we really want them to get. But yeah.
The brand experience that I try to project is I want my customers to love my company. I heard of, familiar with, have a product. None of those are satisfactory for me. I want my customer to love my brand. So I have customers that have 5, 10, 20 of my products. So when I land in your kid's lap, I want them to feel like that product was uniquely made for them. Even though we don't customize products, I want them to open it and think that is them featured in the product. I want them to feel a connection as if I drew them. Even though I didn't, I want them to feel like I drew them. So hopefully and that, I think that'll create a lifelong impression. So that's the kind of thing. It's real aspirational, but that's the kind of thing we're hoping for.
You did that. My daughter, we call it the Mac puzzle. That's true story.
I'd say with me, yeah, similar to what he's saying. It's like, for me, like, I had the experience of going to Ulta, going to Amazon, trying these different products, and it never felt like it was made for me. So when we create these products, my vision, my goal is to make this feel like this is specifically for you. It's going to solve the issues that you've been trying to solve, and it will do it with much greater excellence, and you don't have to spend an arm and leg $300 to get that done. So yeah, just making sure that it's for them overall.
Any other questions?
What would you tell a young entrepreneur coming up? What's the one thing you feel like they need?
Start right now.
Ooh, start doing the thing. Of course, you got to research and talk to your friends and collect information and benchmark, but file your paperwork, your LLC, all this stuff, but do the thing. Don't think about the thing forever. You'll learn so much more through the doing of the thing than you ever would have through researching the thing. So get a thing and sell it. And then get another of the thing and sell it. And that's going to accelerate your learning curve. All the workshops and blogs, yeah, listen to the blogs, listen to the podcast, listen to the YouTube videos, go to the conferences, but go do the thing. That's how you're really going to learn.
And the double on that, like the doing of it, I would say test your assumptions. Like as a founder, CEO, entrepreneur, like you have these assumptions of what will work, these big ideas that like they're driving you and your ambitions, but at the same time, when you're doing it, you just want to validate and test or invalidate, right? Because the only way you're going to be able to scale is to prove yourself right as often as you can. So you want to test along the way. That's my big thing, is test along the way.
Yeah. And that's going to feel like a hot take because you're giving it away to a certain extent. You got to give your stuff away. And you got to get feedback about what's wrong with it. And you got to eat it. And then you got to fix your thing over and over and over and over again. So that's why you got to start, because even when you start, you don't feel like you started. It's like, yeah, I'm doing it, but like I'm not making any money. Who cares? You've got a business. Talk to Amazon. Like 10 years after they were started, they didn't make any money. But like, start.
Cool. I look forward to that. Yeah, you just gotta go. Like, I mean, even right now, like, I have a friend. She does hair. She braided my hair or whatever, and she what's it called? Yeah, she likes hair. Like that's her thing. And I'm like, all right, you're buying these pieces for like $500 a piece, right? Like she's buying hair for $500 a piece. I'm like, go find a supplier. You can get the same piece for like $150 max, right? She already has a TikTok following, right? Just talking about her life and stuff like that. I'm like, all right, just make a little Shopify store. It's $1 a month. Like that's the other thing I want to tell people. This stuff is not that expensive to validate your idea. Like it literally costs pennies. It costs. I'll put it this way: if you just forego Starbucks for like 2 weeks, you'll have enough capital to go buy your first sample of a product. Like no joke. But yeah, like I just told her, go start it up. Just get going. Then you'll be able to see what actually works. And the next thing you know, you're gonna get this $500 sale, and then your entire like limiting beliefs will be broken. And then from there, just compounding that effort. So, but yeah, you just have to go and know that you can do it 100%.
And I think Damon like nailed it, like limiting beliefs, especially as black men. We have so many limiting beliefs driven to us by everyone ever. And honestly, you gotta say to yourself that's bullshit, because it is. Because like honestly, if you apply yourself, nobody can do what you do better than you do it.
So, someone else have a question?
Hello, everyone. This question is for Chris. So, with your team at
Cut 7.
Sorry. So let's get a little still. So for me, I started like personal training last year due to health reasons, but it's been hard for me to like stay motivated and everything. So how do your team keep your clients motivated, empowered after working with them for 6 months, after working with them for a year?
I think you have to be willing to meet people where they are. And what I mean by that is you can't force where you want to go on someone else, especially a client. If a client or an athlete, as I like to call them, if they want to do less or they're not into it and they just want someone to be there for them, then that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to meet you where you are, and I don't care where it is. But here's the thing. Without you knowing it, I'm going to push you somewhere you've never been before, and you're going to hate it. But you're going to love me because I've met you where you are every other day, and I'm the only one who does that. So just seriously be there for them. Listen. Like, we don't have to work out today.
Hi, folks. Thanks for being here. How did you go about finding team members? And is angel investing something you're thinking about in the future? Thank you.
Yeah. So let's see. Last question: is angel investing something thinking about in the future? Yes. Probably still a few years away from being able to do that, but definitely something I want to get into. Definitely want to give opportunities to people look like me who similar to me did not get opportunities at hand. How do we go about growing our team? My co-founder, fortunately, I was best friends with high school with, so the first two of us was easy. Our next two employees and team members were also friends from high school in the neighborhood. But after that, it started tapping into our college network. A lot of classmates, we ended up having classmates that we could then lean into to help referrals for talent. And we spent a lot of time scouring on LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn, looking for candidates, looking for people who we worked with in the past, who we admired, and we knew they had great work ethic, they were incredibly talented. And then, because great people typically, birds of a feather flock together, right? So if we find one great person, they will typically have one or two or three other great people in their network. And trying to leverage and lean into those networks is how we end up growing our team to now 30 today. So, yeah.
So I'm 25. I'm not in a position to angel invest just yet. Maybe in like 10, 15 years or something like that. That's on the radar. But right now, what I do when people like ask for help, so back at my college, UNW, I was able to help out build like the social media marketing curriculum like during my senior year. So I have like actual documentation about how I run things, like the basis of marketing and business things that I've learned, as like slideshows and videos and like worksheets and all that type of stuff. So whenever people ask like, how can I help? I will literally just give you away what people would charge thousands and thousands of dollars for. Just because, like, genuinely, I believe, like, information, it's all out on the information, like, on the website. Just like he said, like, you can go to blogs, podcasts, all of that. Like, for me, like, all the information is there. It's just how do you take it in and how do you execute on it? Like, that makes the biggest difference. So, in a way, like, angel investing, like, that's just somebody saying they believe in you, for the most part. Then I think the second, about team. Right now, it's just me, and I've got, like, 6 contractors. Like some part-time, and then I got 2 people like mid-full-time. I say, hey, don't work more than 30 hours a week. Just because you don't have to, like if you can get efficiency out of things for certain stuff. But yeah, for me, like I said, I'm a visionary guy, so I try to find people that are already talented that I don't need to manage as much. Just more or less steer them in the direction where we're trying to go. But yeah, that's how I go about those 2 questions.
I think when we all succeed and become billionaires, and when I become a trillionaire, we have a responsibility to be angel investors. I mean, we have a responsibility to help, to support. We're getting help. We are. Every single one of us is getting help from someone. There's a black man out there helping each one of us. We need to be that. I'm going to give everything I have away to my kids, to my son, my daughter. She's got to be better. She's got to do better. No, I'm kidding. I'll tell you what she did right after this. You're just going to blow you. But yeah, no, I think it is a responsibility. We are fortunate. We got lucky. We have successful businesses. Now we have to help someone else get lucky, and we can never shy away from helping someone else get lucky, especially if they look like us. And I hate to say that, especially because they look like us, but like no one else is helping us. So if you're not going to help, who is?
Any more questions?
My question is for Matthew. So my daughter and I love doing puzzles, but we have a hard time finding puzzles that relate to us as a family and our interests. So is your product just sold online, or are you sold in any retail store?
Okay, so since it would be really awesome if you follow me on Instagram right now while I'm answering this question.
Okay.
So we've had wonderful research. When you get featured on Oprah's Favorite Things, instead of chasing the retailers, all the retailers are chasing you. So I had meetings with Target, Macy's, Bed Bath & Beyond, Walmart, Pottery Barn, all of them. Our first retail partnership was with Macy's, who I've been with for about 3 years. They've been a fantastic partner. We did a t-shirt line with Macy's that was, and it was really cool that I got the experience of having a royalty model with them, where they did all the manufacturing and they paid me to license my images. So that was a fair. So we're on the shelf at Macy's. We were on the shelf at Target during Black History Month, and then locally at Mahogany Books in the National Harbor, and we're at some of the Busboys and Port stores in Washington, D.C. But our primary sales channel is my website, puzzlehubby.com.
Do we have any more questions? Okay, I have one more question. We are recording this for the podcast, and in every podcast episode, we kind of end with what does it mean to be Black in business? So I wanted to ask you all, what does it mean to be Black in business?
I mean, honestly, you're navigating a world that wasn't made for you. So it's like being Black every day. I mean, for real, like, my dad's from Haiti, and my mom is from Georgia, and like, it's my dad's second language, and my mom was in Massachusetts from Georgia, and those two things don't really mix well. So I got these two parents that are crazy. Right? No, but like, for real. But like, but I'm saying, right? So I'm raised different than everybody around me. And as I'm growing up, I'm different. You know, when you walk in some circles, unfortunately, you don't see our faces. So you have to navigate that, and they're not our rules. We have to make our own economy. We have to do this ourselves eventually. But right now, being Black in business is being Black.
For me, honestly, I do view it as an opportunity more than anything, because like there is no road, like it's like almost like Wild West type stuff. When I say that, like the products aren't made for us, the experiences aren't made for us yet. So if you can be one of the forward-thinking people to create that, well, I mean that's literally like gold rush for me. Like I'm just like, oh my gosh, like we can do all of this stuff. So that's the way that I look at it. And I think that was with my grandfather. He came from a family of like 12 brothers and sisters out of the country. And he was like the only one that went to college. Out of all of them, they thought he was crazy. And he studied finance. And he told me to pursue the thing that nobody else thinks you can pursue. Because it's 10 times, the way I look at it, it's 10 times easier to do the hardest thing possible than it is to do like what everybody else is doing. Because the competition is just much less at the time. That's how I look at it.
25.
For me being a Black-owned business, I'm going to take a cross and position it as a positive. I think we all walk in a legacy and experience in a community that is really affirming. Your consumer base, you'll find that they believe in you, they want you to win, and they're aligned with your purpose, because generally your purpose is greater than your business. Like you have a business, but the business is just the thing to enable the greater thing, and usually that thing is in support of the community. I have customers that buy from me, and they message me and tell me that they're praying for me. I've never bought anything and messaged the business and said, I'm buying it and I'm praying for your business. I have hundreds of customers that say, we believe in you, I'm buying this, and we're praying for your company. So to be a Black-owned business means that I'm living in a community and experience that believes in me. They're praying for me. They hope for my success. They're invested in me, and they need me to win, and they're willing to support me in any way possible. I don't pay influencers. These people post, repost, retweet. I'm not paying them, but they're invested in my success, and I think I benefit from being a Black-owned business that way, because my community is helping me win. As they're buying things from me, they give me feedback and encourage me and pat me on the back, and they tell me that they're proud of me while they're buying my products from me.
And I'll probably just say lastly, like, everything you guys, I'm gonna echo the same exact sentiments. The one difference I'll probably say is, to your point, Chris, around just like black in businesses, black in America, I think the benefit that you point, the positive side is, I think just makes us better for it, right? We're expected to do the same with less resources, but I think at the end of it, what you see is a lot of incredible businesses built by black people and that are better suited for longevity because, you know, you've been forced to build a better business because, you know, you've been forced to go through the trenches with it. So I think that's the benefit I see of it.
That's a fact. I'm counting on that.
Any other questions? Okay, well, again, thank you for being on the panel today. Can we give a round of applause? We do have something special for you all. It's just we don't have it on. It's back there, but just we have something for you. And then I guess I'll give it back to finish and close out some things.
Thank you all again. Thank you all so much, everybody. Thank you all for being here. So I want to thank everyone for being in the room today. This is going on a list of my thank yous. First, everyone for being here, investing, like Matthew said, investing in us, investing in this panel, also for the panel, investing in our community. I think that's so important, education, sharing. How did you get here? I think that's the one thing I love about Black to Business is about knowledge sharing, not so much motivation. We want to know how did you do exactly what you did. And I think that's what helps people. So thank you all for being in the room. I also want to thank my team, Jamor, for making this happen, helping make this happen. And also, so give it up for Jamor. Wonderful. This is your first time moderating, right? Yep. Okay. He did amazing, right? Yep. And also Tasha, our event consultant. Thank you, Tasha. So we started with Black Women Who Lead, and then we were like, let's just try to do. So Tasha was there since we did Black Women Who Lead, and then we were like, let's try to do Black Men Who Lead, and then it was like so good. It was like, we got to keep doing this. And so thank you, Tasha, for going on this journey with us. And again, thank you to Shanklin Hall for this amazing space. Like, I think we were like, we want to do it there. They were like, we are for it. So that speaks to the support. They have this amazing space that they've created, and we just are so grateful to them for this. And then also, I want to thank. So I shared my story, and then I started Black to Business. A little bit about me. I'm from a small town called Osceola, Georgia. About 4,000 people. Everybody, kin folks, know everybody. So that's why I was like, Georgia, what you saying? So, but when I grew up, when it came to entrepreneurship, the only entrepreneurs I knew was really like the barber, the hair salon, and like the mortician. Like that was it. So I was like, I want to start me a business. But when I tell you another thing that helped me when I went away to DC was the community. Like my community poured into me, invested in me. Like that is why I'm here today. And so I want to thank my mom, who's right here, my biggest cheerleader. She came up just to be here. So I really want to thank my mom. There has been nothing that I want. She thinks if I go sell buns, she's like, you can do it. She's never told me I cannot do anything. So I want to thank my mom and my family here. They flew up from Georgia just to be here, and I'm so thankful for them. I always say we didn't have much growing up, but one thing I did have was a lot of love, community, and a family that I love them so much. So thank you to my family, my cousin Felicia, Larry, Krista. So give it up for my family for being here. And again, thank you to everybody. Thank you, Mother. Thank you. And so again, thank you all for being here. If you all want to hang out, you can. And also make sure that you subscribe to our newsletter. We send out something every week. Follow us on Instagram at Black to Business and also Black Men Who Lead. Okay? And then also we have another event after this, so we ain't saying you gotta leave, but 8 o'clock, you gotta be out there. Okay? All right, thank you all again. And we're gonna take pictures. Oh, also for giving product. Dudes, everybody has a product in your bag, and the product is amazing. I'm gonna want to burger it. So thank you so much, Damon. And also you flew in from Miami just to be here as well. So shout out to that. Thank you.
And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for joining us for another enlightening episode of the Black to Business podcast. We truly hope you enjoyed their incredible conversation and the stories that were shared by them. If you are as inspired as we are and want to learn more about the panelists, including their social media handles and other exciting updates, head over to our website at blacktobusiness.com/167. And don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform so that you never miss an episode. And we also want to extend a massive thank you to our panelists, our moderator, our venue partners, Shanklin Hall, for their beautiful space, Tasha Moores, our event consulting, my family for coming in, and to all of you, our fantastic listeners, for your continued support. Without you, none of this would be possible. We truly appreciate you, and we don't take it lightly that you have chosen us to be a part of your entrepreneurial journey. Thank you. All right, I will chat with you next week, same time, same place.